is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, plus swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys had a great weekend and a good St. Patty's Day. I forgot about that. Wish you guys had good at St. Patty's Day. I forgot. It was just they threw that one in for me. I don't know. Well, we do have a little gap up this morning. So there's a lot of bulls feeling good. I'm feeling good just because you guys are in the house. We got Al. Good morning to you. We got Albert. Good morning. Bill, Brian, Craig. D is in the house. Good morning to Donna, Julie, Kevin, Stone. Good morning to Lauren. We got Lou in the house. Good morning to Marius, Miguel, Mike is Paul, Randy, Win. The squadron is here. Good morning to all my peeps in YouTube land. Got Daniel. We got Stay in Your Lane audits. Good morning to you. Liza. Good morning. No Till. Anna. Good morning. We got Honey Roy. All my lurkers in the background. So, okay, I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Stay in your lane says, I really need to focus on RLT so I can park my semi truck and trade full time. I love it. I love it. Appreciate it. Yeah, we have a good little gap up today. The one key event about Friday was the fact that we had quad witching day. So all the contracts for the week, the day, the month, the quarter, all expired. They're cleared off the table. The results are in. And a lot of times after the quad witching, we can set up for a pivot. Right now, it looks like we are still trying to stay in this bullish trend. We have a nice channel. Again, little bounce off of a moving average, so got a little bit scary, but really good gap today. It is a gap and go. Decent volume came in from probably the quad witching on Friday. The one thing I would be concerned with is we do have 514.39 as a decent resistance. The one after that is 514.90. So we might be stretching this one already in a bullish direction. We'll see what happens. But if we get a little bit higher, let's see if we got there pre-market. I'm not sure. Not sure if we got there pre-market. We got to 514, yeah. So we did hit 514. So we already kind of hit that resistance. Maybe the next time we have the ability to move past it, start getting up to the upper channels to kind of continue this trend up higher. We'll see. But for right now, it is a gap and go. So I'd still be leaning a little bullish. I'm a cautious bull at open. We do have NVIDIA's event today. So they have their conference, kind of like how Apple used to do it. And everyone will pay attention to Apple. Now we have NVIDIA. So we'll see if they want to help maybe break the SPY past some of that resistance, maybe help carry the Qs. Qs, same situation. Kind of still inside day on this one. So at least the SPY is actually gapping above Friday. This one is still inside day toward the higher portion of the range. We got 439.10 is my first resistance. So essentially opening into a little bit of resistance and being inside candle. I'd probably expect a little bit of a fade, some profit taking. This would be the third. We had 3 bearish days in a row, so we'll see if we're able to squeeze a green one in here. Otherwise, we've been since looks like essentially February 22nd, really just kind of consolidating in this range. There was your first close below the moving average. So again, Qs, which have been the leader, undisputedly, they're not as strong right now. They're at least just consolidating, and looks like the rest of the market's kind of trying to catch up a little. If you guys got tickers, you can go ahead, throw those into the chat. We can pull up a few different stocks if anything looks good to you guys that you want to cover. We got TLT. Again, not really holding. We've done most of this rally without the bonds, without the support of the bonds, which is very interesting. A little bit of a gap down into some support. This is a retest gap, so let's see if we get a little chop out of here. Otherwise, stretch target to the downside would be about 92.14. That's going to be the strong level I'd want to see hold. And if it doesn't, you're probably pulling back closer to the 88 range. Probably not in one day. That'd be a big move on TLT, but lots of bear days in a row. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row after hitting the 200 on a daily, getting rejected and moving down. Bitcoin. We'll start with that one first before we get to coin. A little bit of a pullback on the weekend, so down, I think, roughly about 6%. We are up today, which is good. We can move some of these lines on the chart. But yeah, still chopping again. It's the most uh the biggest increase in any asset class so far this year has actually been Bitcoin. And it looks like we got a small little pullback again, holding some moving averages, a little inside chop day. I do like this one a little bit more bullish where we're opening right now. So we should have some kind of support 68.96. We're at the next little level of resistance support, 68.320. And then heading on back, maybe we got one little resistance somewhere around 69.474. Otherwise, we don't have much back to the 71.600 zone. So it's got a decent amount of room on it. So let's go take a look at coin. Let's see if we could coin had a pretty big pullback last couple days. I think we're down roughly 10%. Didn't quite get all the way down to the moving average, but this was a retest gap on Friday. We came back, pretty strong close support on this one. So if we get a little pullback, because this is a inside day, look for support somewhere around 236.33, and then probably taking us up to, I don't see anything else really holding us back to 254.99. So yeah, I'll throw this on the chart. I kind of want to be patient at open, see if we get that little bit of a pullback. I really don't want to short, especially if Bitcoin looks like it could break and have a decent run. I'd want to be, it's gonna mimic what Bitcoin does. So see if we get a little pullback on Coinbase at open somewhere around this 237 zone, I guess. We'll put it around 237. If we get that pullback into there, I wouldn't mind trying the attempt to go long on it. Let's see, we got Google, Googl. I believe they have some AI news, which is desperately needed for Google. Sony struggles with VR content, sales slump, yada yada, futures rise. AI hopes with rate concerns. Yeah, we have the Fed meeting this week too. We're going to have the Fed meeting this week. And then we have Jerome Powell speaking as well. Let me see what the AI news. Apple was gapping too. So Apple is in talks to build Google's Gemini artificial intelligence and into the iPhone. So a little partnership between Apple and Google. Both I believe are gapping up. Let's take a look real quick at that gap though. Uh we've been bullish for a few days now, so there's definitely some people profitable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. One little pullback. Nice little, I would say, surprise gap up off of non-earnings play. So that's not a bad gap. We do have one little resistance right where we're opening 148.92. Somewhere right in that zone. If we can get past that though, we have a good trade up until probably about 152. So there's some room on Google. I'm gonna get this one a little bit higher on the list too. And we might as well take a look at Apple, AAPL. Yeah, I don't know which one I like better. Hmm. I like the Apple one in terms of range. Like we can go from 174.65. I don't really have a VPOC up until the next resistance is 179.96. So roughly about $6 higher. So that I like. I don't like all the pressure from the moving averages that could hold us back a little bit. I At least on Google, we're still on the right side of those moving averages. And I guess it's a little retest. We'll see if this one pulls back. But we are above that support, so Apple looks sneaky. I kind of like the Apple almost over Google, but I don't mind Google as well. MU's got a nice gap up. Let's see that one. MU. I expect some volatility in the chips today because of the Nvidia conference. Let me know if there's any let me know what time that is. I don't know if they're gonna have any, I don't know, maybe they have a new breakthrough product, something that really pushes Nvidia. So this is more of an inside candle. Otherwise, that would be a retest. I would play it more as a gap and go. That is a good gap again. You're gonna start to hit into this 98.02 range. That would be stop number one, and then the next target would be about 99.14. If we can start breaking through that, and we do get some positivity from the AI sector, the chip sector, maybe we get some more momentum here. Nice little bounce off of those moving averages though, and we are clearing a bunch of support. So uh just the resistance to the targets for me. And obviously those are targets until we break out, so it's possible. Okay. I wouldn't want to be short on these, so I wouldn't short it. I'd rather just it pull back and then we try to find some longs on it. But depends on where this thing opens. If we saw this one, I think it was on Friday. Well, it was either Friday or Thursday. I can't remember which day. And it was looking like a really good gap. I think it was, yeah, Friday. We were gapping up here above this candle. That looked like a really good play. But by the time this thing actually opened, we were inside day candle. So I'd be curious to see where this one opens. Would love to try it somewhere close. I would love to get filled somewhere closer to 95.69 as an attempt if we could get a pullback. And that would give me a little bit better risk reward to the upside. MU has earnings. That's the other thing about this week too. I mean, we're at the very, very tail end of earnings season. So now we got to wait probably another 3 weeks. We're not that news heavy. We're not that news heavy. Besides the Fed, besides realistically, Nvidia is going to play some weight into this market probably today. But there's not a lot. But MU does have earnings this Wednesday, so that looks like uh maybe some positive vibes heading into that. Being bullish into the earnings and then straight gamble through earnings, and we'll see what happens. QCOM, so QCOM, nice little gap there as well. Again, into a significant resistance. 171.11. Next one up is about 171.42-ish. And then we're probably looking at 172.90. So uh, it's, it's not a huge range. Not a huge range. Would like to see a pullback on this one as well. 169.55. And again, the market has kind of run all pre-market so far. So this is a good shot we get that pullback. Tesla. Yeah, Tesla's getting a gap. I don't know. Look at this gray line that I drew two years ago. What a hold. What a hold on that one. That random line. But yeah, good gap up. Was there news or an upgrade? Or is this a Tesla stock rallies as prices for Model Y EVs will increase? Okay. That's a little different. The last little bit of news cycle, they've just been constantly lowering prices. So maybe they got a little pricing power. I thought Rivian, I think, was gapping up too. Uh, Inside candle, really good gap though. Good gap. Resistance on this one. Is the price increase going to be enough to really carry this one past 171.91? I would see if we could like if I was going to fade a stock, if I was going to play something short today. I think Tesla's probably one of the best bets and be looking for like 171.91. In a weird way, that's a huge story because again, all of the EVs in China, we've been reducing pricing. Here in the US, we've been reducing pricing. That's been the news cycle. And if Tesla thinks they have a little bit of pricing power and they're able to get their prices up and think they could still have some deliveries on their hands, then this is a good spot on Tesla. But I think this would just with the overall news on Tesla, though, I think there's some bulls that we're probably trying to get in, even bullish from Friday, that might want to lock a little bit of gains in. So if I was to short something, I think it's just got a dark cloud over it for right now, and this might be a shortable gap. We'll get this one up. As much as I don't want to short Tesla, I think it's a very doable play. Let's see if we get Tesla a little bit higher on the list. All right. QCon, we took a look at Lurkin. What's going on, Lurkin? Am Sky said Tesla as well. All right, let's take a look at AMD. If you guys have other tickers, let me know. AMD's kind of gap up, a little bit of a retest. I think trying to see if this one comes down to like 90, 192.61 might be decent. Otherwise, probably Chopville. 195.01 is some kind of resistance on it. Square, SQ. I guess we can take all these lines off. New week, don't need lines. Yeah, same thing. Inside day on Square. If and this is, by the way, this is a very big reversal sign on Square, so just something to watch out for. Not so much, not so much Friday's candle, but if we were to get a little creative on this one, and we were to redraw this, we opened right here on this big massive green day, good breakout. The next day we gave it all right back, so we have almost a little bit of a doji with a long wick. So if I was to redraw this thing, it looks exactly like that, which is it's a little bit of a topping 2 bar play. Probably probably would make sense to stay short on Square, obviously, until this breaks out, and I get a little concerned, obviously, if this breaks out. All right, so somewhere in the 85-93 zone. If the Bulls are able to come in and just hit a home run and get this thing right back up above those levels, I think the shorts are done. They're gonna squeeze, and you probably have a really good push from there. But those two candles by themselves, that's probably going to put a little bit of chop into this one. At least hang out for a little bit to before the bulls say, okay, let's push this thing higher. Or a lot of times this would be a big reversal on a daily chart, and we probably could come down at least for some retests. It looks like we have a few gaps below us too. For today, though, a little bit of inside candle. Maybe those moving averages kind of help push us up a little bit, or keep us up there, but they're still pretty far away as well. Uh, PayPal, you got that 200 right there. This is a good gap, though. Good gap. Resistance, which we've been able to break through, but not able to hold. 63.44. And we've already hit those. If we get a good break and we could get through that 200, I'll be looking for about 64.85. So a little bit more bullish right now on PayPal than Square, until Square can kind of prove that they can hold some levels. Roblo to the short side, RBLX. Mm-hmm. Uh, I think for a swing trade, it might be decent. I think today at open is probably going to be a fade. Good gap below the 200. We do have some kind of little almost pennant pattern that we've been building. Something like this. This is a retest candle. We've had some selling come in. We've obviously had some selling from here, and we have a little bit of support right below us. So that support is going to land us somewhere around 38.07. I think you actually today, I would, if I was to predict, let's see how this works out. If I was to predict, I think we get bought up on this day. And then I think if you're going to continue short future days, rest of the week, this might be a one to watch because it does look like it's breaking down. I just think today probably gets bought up and some kind of just profit taking. So I would be cautious at least I think your risk reward is a little bit better actually to the bullish side than it is to the bearish until we break down this level here. So until we start getting below 38, then I think it's all hands on deck. And let's see the next spot down we could get to. Uh, I guess my stretch target would be about 36.72 if it sees a pretty big nasty day. So we'll see. Twilio retest on the neckline. TWLO. Twilio. Mm. Yeah, so that would be your neckline. This could be again. You're going to get held up a little bit at I would say $60.45. I would like to see it come down a little bit further, so 58.24. So even though this is actually already breaking the neckline, I would say. Right? So if we have the neckline actually sitting here, this candle should have been enough. So we were getting a little bit weaker. We can see also if we do a little Fibonacci on this thing. Let me take some lines off real quick. Put a Fibonacci on this retracement as well for some kind of hopium. I think we got up into this zone. All right, well, we closed right around that 50% retracement, so I'll give you that. And that 618 does look good, though. If we get down to 58, looks like, I don't know, 58.75. That would be your 618. And I do have one little VPOC a little bit lower, 58.23. So somewhere in that zone is a much better spot. Otherwise, the daily chart, yeah, absolutely got a great double bottom. It's not the strongest play, I don't think, just because you do have all those moving averages to the higher side. So we're sitting below all those moving averages, which all of those are going to act as some type of resistance. I also have a high volume zone somewhere around 63.18. And if we start getting above that, then we got a good shot at that gap fill. Other than that, I think we're just trading a little sideways. Does look like a potential double bottom, higher lows. You got a little bit of volume on this breakdown day, so the fact that we're still above that would make sense. And again, that's probably right where your 618 is. So see how this resistance holds today if you do want to try to play it. If you're not already in it, see how that resistance is around $6.40 holds. If we close or continue to close below it, I wouldn't really want to. I wouldn't get too excited until we get down at least to the $59 range on Twilio. All right, we got. Let's see what else we got moving. PLTR. Little bit of a gap up. Concerning close on Palantir below some of those moving averages. Uh, we are above Friday's VPOC. That should be support somewhere around 23.67. So as long as we could hang above that, I'd probably prefer to be a little bit more bullish than bearish on Palantir. 24.42 would be my target. I don't know if we hit that today. 24.18 will be kind of the retest into that last moving average that we did break down. So I don't know how excited I would be to be bullish on it. Mara starting to come down. So it came down a lot, and it has not been holding like Coinbase. But even Coinbase came down like 10%. So um otherwise, this is a good retest spot. A little bit of a bullish engulfing candle on Friday into some kind of support. You do have that 200 slightly below you. So if you want to get a little less aggressive with your trade, probably going right below that 200 on your stop. If this is a swing trade, maybe even get it below this, which should be decent support, would look good. If Bitcoin does want to finally break, you might have a little bit of a push. Room up to, I think, $20.61. And if it goes crazy, which has got high short float, it could do it. 22.11 would be a stretch target for today. But we're opening inside day. Probably best bet would be see if it does want to pull back a little bit, 1872. And then again, probably on a day trade portion, I'd go right underneath the Friday's lows. See if we get the stops down there. TSM might be one to watch today. Again, just kind of a sympathy off of the NVIDIA conference. Uh, this should be, well, technically Friday was a retest gap down into a moving average. We're gapping up a little bit. Probably fades again. I don't know what time. Let me see what time NVIDIA's conference is. What time is NVIDIA's conference? NVIDIA's showcase event could decide future of technology stock rally. Oh, they make that seem important. So we got March 19th, which I believe is that today? That's tomorrow, they're saying at 8:30 a.m. Hmm. I was pretty positive it was today. Doors open at 11 a.m. Yeah, this one says 10:30 a.m. So I'm not sure exactly what time. March 18th to the 21st. Is that a 3-day conference? Mm-mm-mm. All right, we'll have to see how that one plays out, but I'm getting different times on that, so I'm not sure if it's 10:30 a.m. or it looks like a 3-day event, according to one source randomly found on the internet. We'll see. I believe Snow got a little bit of an upgrade today as well. SNOW. So they might be one to watch potentially. They've obviously they need some kind of momentum switch, but we got big key support somewhere around 148.88 if it comes back down there. You're also at some level of support, and you do have this gap fill that has not filled yet. But I believe they did come in with a little bit of an upgrade today. So maybe some eyes will be on Snow. We'll see. Otherwise, look for support. Still inside day, so that even this gap is not even moving as much. But 157.50, you would expect to hold. We'll take a look real quick at Meta, and probably we should look at Microsoft too. Meta is a gap and go. Good volume again on Friday. Big resistance above us, so this one could get a little choppy. Resistance probably coming in at 495.97. If we could get a break above it, then I think we got targets of 505.87. Just not sure how strong that resistance is going to be. It looks like a pretty decent one. We'll take a look at Microsoft, MSFT. A lot of things a little bit quiet in the market, believe it or not, even with this gap up. It's very, very select stocks that are kind of moving today. Everything else is a lot of inside days, Microsoft included. Risk to reward standpoint, yeah, if we break, if you're putting your stop low of Friday, that would get you, at least you're buying close to the lows of Friday. Otherwise, this gap, not that impressive. To the way up, our first resistance, 414.93. The next one will take us to 416.72. It does look a little bit more short than it does long. So maybe green high wave on Microsoft, and I might go short on that one. We do have a lot of room on it. Otherwise, that is the morning bell. All my people out in YouTube land, unfortunately, this is the time I got to disconnect. But make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. We'll be back doing it all again. We'll see what today plays out like. And